Hello and welcome back to another video. This is the 10th episode of story in which before his death, Minato had created a tool that was meant to succeed the Hiraishin. But now that he's passed it on to his kid, what will Naruto do with the power to control time and space? Please smash the like and subscribe buttons. Let's get started. Naruto began moving again, although rather painfully, as he felt the Kyuubi's chakra coursing through him, repairing his body. Although it felt a bit disgusting as his ribs began to realign back into place with his lungs closing up behind them. Well, it's easier to breathe now. Looking up to Itachi, the blonde slowly got to his feet as the elder Uchiha grabbed his arm to support him up. 7 years ago, taking a labored breath, what are you talking about? Itachi looked to him for a moment as his concentration then went back to Orochimaru. You told me to give this back to you, pulling out a piece of paper. You told me I needed to be here at this exact time and place to save my brother. He then gave a slight grin as a thought passed his mind. But looking at you now, I guess you really are a time traveler. Hearing all this, Naruto could not even comprehend what the heck was going on, as he was just utterly lost. But shaking his head, he tried his best to just go with it and figure out the rest later. However, that only made his head hurt more. Orochimaru could not believe who had showed up. Although surprised, it also presented an immense opportunity. The Sharingan eyes were not meant to last on their own, hence the other curse of the Uchiha family of needing to steal the eyes of fellow clansmen, not only making the Mangekyo permanent but stronger. Just thinking of the power he was going to achieve made him salivate. Enough talk. I'll be claiming both of your bodies, as Susanoo flared around him as he jumped up with his battle avatar aiming for the two. Naruto and Itachi reacted as they both jumped out of the way, quickly running as they went to opposite hillside. That fool, said Itachi. He's using that technique too recklessly. At this rate he's going to kill himself with how much chakra he's using. Then what are we going to do? Itachi watched silently as he contemplated his options. I have a technique that I can forcibly exorcise Orochimaru from Sasuke's body. Okay, what's the problem then, as the pair had to jump out of the way again as they reconvened on the ground. If you can save Sasuke, then why aren't you doing it? Because their souls are too mashed together from when I made contact. If I try to purge him now, I can't guarantee my brother's safety, as I might end up taking them both. Then what are we to do? As once again the pair needed to move, dodging another attack. We're running out of time. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? If I really told you 7 years ago to be here to do this, I must have given you some clue. It's on the paper. You just need to figure it out now. Watching Orochimaru's Susanoo fling its fist at them, Itachi then summoned his battle avatar as he proceeded to catch his attack and forcibly putting it in an arm bar. Hurry, I will not be able to hold him for long. Got it, said Naruto as he went to a safe distance. Opening the small slip of paper, it's blank. Wait, calm down. This is me we're talking about. If this is something I've written, it has to be encoded in a way that only I can understand. Rifling through every trick he knew, it's chakra paper. I just need to give it some power and the message should appear. Investing some, words began to appear which only further baffled the young blonde. What the hell is this supposed to mean? Reading it, the loop is almost complete. You just need to say the word. How am I supposed to know what this means? It didn't help his thinking process much with explosions occurring in the background. He's learning quickly, as Itachi evaded Orochimaru's attack. In a way, he did have to acknowledge that the snake Sannin was a prodigy, as he constantly proclaimed. Although new to the Uchiha abilities, he was steadily getting better, which made it difficult for him to hold back. Furthermore, his limits with his Susanoo were shorter by comparison to that of his brother due to many variables, but mostly for the extended uses of his own eyes. This being fact, he needed to be tactful with how everything would proceed from there. What's wrong? Taunted Orochimaru. Is this all the Uchiha prodigy is capable of? As his Susanoo created a chakra-like sword swinging down. Allowing the attack to connect, Itachi exploded into a murder of crows appearing behind him as he just needed to buy time until Naruto could figure out what the message was. Ku, is that all you can muster now? Just some cheap parlor tricks? Don't insult me, boy. Orochimaru's Susanoo then attacked, repeatedly swinging his blade as it carved up the ground as he went. Itachi sidestepped and leapt over each attack as the chakra blade was only a paper-thin margin away from cutting him. But then, sidestepping another blade strike, the elder Uchiha partially materialized his Susanoo's fist as he grinded it against the opposing battle avatar's stomach. Orochimaru recoiled from the force of the punch as his battle avatar absorbed most of the kinetic force. Even behind his Susanoo's protective skin, he had to say he was impressed with the offensive power of his opponent. Tisk, so you do have some fight in you after all. Itachi remained silent as he awaited the Snake Sannin's next move. Hurry up, Naruto. The loop is almost finished, the loop is almost finished, the loop is almost finished. What the heck is the word supposed to be? Naruto was racking his brain as none of this was making sense. The more he thought about it, the more confused he got. I mean, what word was supposed to save his friend? Please, he thought sarcastically. There were already so many words as it is, and how was he supposed to figure out which was the right one, let alone how it was supposed to save his retarded friend? Thinking even harder about it, he rubbed his head in agitation as he wanted to hit himself in frustration. Sasuke, if I survive this, I'm so going to kick your ass for causing all this trouble. Why in all the times you have to be such a jerk? But in exclaiming that thought to himself, his eyes snapped open as if reaching an epiphany. It can't be. Could it? Slowly piecing everything together from the very beginning 7 years ago, events started to connect in ways he couldn't believe. Placing all the possible scenarios together, he realized something incredible was occurring as he gave a strained chuckle. In the last 7 years, a plan no one was aware of was being made. A plan designed for this very moment. Everything was built up for this exact moment in time. So, slipping the paper in his pocket, he went to Itachi as he just recently jumped clear of Orochimaru. I know what the word is. Once I say it, you're going to have to hurry, as this might be our only chance to save him. Are you sure? Yes. Naruto answered confidently. I know this will save him. Alright, but first we need him to get clear of his Susanoo. Not a problem, but I can use a good throwing arm. What are you planning? Itachi asked. Using actions to answer, Naruto activated his Sage mode while generating another clone as they begun creating a Rasengan. Adding more juice to it, the chakra bullet grew to an enormous proportion. Going for a good old-fashioned fastball special. Understanding the idea, Itachi summoned out his Susanoo once more as the clone jumped his hand. Reeling back as Itachi mimicked the movements, getting into a good throwing stance, his Susanoo launched the young blonde as the Rasengan technique flew through the air at blinding speed. Seeing the giant ball of chakra, Orochimaru was uncertain if would be able to withstand such a hit. But before he could even postulate the idea of moving, several hundreds of Naruto clones appeared right above him to make certain he wouldn't go anywhere. Unable to do nothing more, the attack collided with immense force, which not only destroyed all the clones but tore up the terrain as Susanoo's chakra form rippled before shattering into shards. Not giving him time to recover, Naruto Hirashin in grabbing Orochimaru by the shirt as he pulled his arm back ready to uppercut him. Sasuke! You're such a goddamn, punching him as hard as he could, sending him flying up as he stressed the last word he had to say. Jerk! Itachi, maintaining eye contact with his brother, watched out for any sign that differentiated his soul from the snake's. Upon Naruto's actions, he felt a sudden spike. Although it didn't quite tell him who his was, the echo of his soul did. To say the least, he was amused to what he heard scream back to him through his chakra. Naruto, you moron! Acting instantly, his Susanoo summoned out the sword of Totsuka, stabbing Sasuke, making sure he grabbed the other chakra source. Pulling back, Orochimaru's presence began flowing out into a gourd, as it was then that the Snake Sannin was sealed forever. Withdrawing his weapon and letting go of his technique, Sasuke fell to the ground unconscious as he laid there until Naruto flipped him face up. "Hey jerk," as the blonde slapped him in the face a few times to get him to regain consciousness. "It's time to wake up now." Itachi soon was next to them as he kneeled to check his condition. Slowly Sasuke's eyes began to flicker open as he groaned out in pain. What happened? As he rubbed his forehead with the migraine he felt. Staring at him for a bit, Naruto chuckled as he soon sat back onto the ground. "I'll tell you what happened, you owe me 7 years worth of ramen." Konoha, Forest, walking back to the village, Itachi carried his brother as Naruto walked beside him as both boys were quite exhausted from the intense battle. Finally recovering all the chakra that he needed, there was something Naruto had to do to complete the cycle. "Are you sure about this? It's highly recommended that you get some rest before doing anything else." "Don't worry about me," said Naruto seeming chipper. "I'll be back before breakfast." Seeing Sasuke rousing from his rest, "I'm sure there are some things you need to discuss with him," to which Itachi nodded too. Bringing his watch up, a orb of light surrounded him as he was then gone in a flash. Konoha, 7 years ago, there were a couple of things he needed to do while in the past as well as a couple of places he needed to be. The first was at Chiraka Ramen. There he needed to pay Tucci for 7 years worth of ramen with the inclusion of any possible expenses to who this would be going to. Of course he used a henge as he didn't want anyone to be alerted to his presence. Although it saddened him greatly with how Gamachan was empty now seeing as he had to sink all his savings into this. Next stop was his old apartment where he needed to give a message to his younger self about the ramen and calling Sasuke a jerk for the next 7 years. Walking by his old neighbors, he was tempted in knocking on their door just to see how they were, but decided against it as he shouldn't be doing more than he was supposed to. I wonder whatever happened to them, as the old pair disappeared after the invasion incident. Then skipping a few months ahead right after the Uchiha massacre, he needed to speak quickly and tell Itachi everything he needed to know for the time being as this would complete the loop. "I don't understand," said Itachi. "How do you know all these things? What does this have to do with my brother?" "Just understand for now," said Naruto patiently. "That in the future, your brother is going to need your help as he's going to get way in over his head. In that time, taking a soft breath, I'm going to need your help in saving his soul." How am I supposed to do that, as the young Itachi was still lost in what was being said to him? "You will know in time. But in 7 years I'm going to need you to give this back to me," handing over the chakra paper. "You'll know when the time has come." Itachi looked hesitant of whether he should believe this fantastical story or not. However, it concerned his brother's well-being, and that was something he did not wish to gamble on. Although what was asked of him would not be out of his way, he wanted some assurance that things would play out as the young blonde had said, as there were too many radicals to this entire thing. "What proof can you provide that things will happen as you say?" Naruto thought carefully about this of how he wanted to word it without giving up too much about the future. Thinking about the most notable events in his present. 7 years from now a snake of sound and wind will fall upon the leaf. For shadows and a fox will appear to stop them. Although victorious, a poisoned youth will bring new life to sin. It is at that time you will be needed. The older Uchiha narrowed his eyes to this before closing them. "Very well, we will see," as his body flickered away. The blonde Jinchuriki gave a sigh of relief as his mission was completed. Just as he was about to return, his watch began to glow as one of the secondary hands started pointing him to direction as if telling him to go there. Curious, he followed the arrow back into the village to find something extremely odd. A crack in the wall. Although it didn't seem like something to care about, his watch was reacting crazily to it. But why, he wondered. Seeing that he wasn't in any great hurry, as let's face it, he had a time machine, he had the time to see what it was. So using a few Uzumaki diagnostic seals, it quickly spat out information that this wasn't just a crack in the wall, but a crack within space-time. But why is something like this here of all places? Then feeling his watch buzz in his hand, he lifted it as it reacted to the crack, sealing it up, leaving no trace behind. That was weird. So shrugging it off, Naruto returned back to his time. Konoha, present time. Days later, Naruto was at Ichiraku having a beef bowl in silence as there were a couple of things on his mind. Mind if I join you, Naruto-kun? The blonde gave a soft smile to his pale friend. Anytime, Hinata-chan. Me so please, said Hinata to Tucci. So what are you thinking about? Not really sure. Just so much has happened in such a short time. But more so, taking his watch out, it's been going crazy ever since I got back. I think it's telling me to go somewhere. Tucci soon returned with a bowl of miso, handing it to the Hyuga heiress. What do you think it's trying to tell you? Not sure. Oh yeah, I heard from Ino. Are you actually going to try to be Granny's apprentice? Yes, Hinata nodded. The night Tsunade saved them, she, Ino, and Sakura were mesmerized by her power and talent at how she easily defeated such an immensely strong enemy. Of course each of them had their own reasons why they wanted to study under the legendary slug Sanmin. But for herself, it was not only about self-improvement but for Naruto's sake as well. Upon his return he was terribly injured and exhausted, which worried her greatly. So seeking both power and the ability to protect her blonde friend, who better than to learn under strongest kunoichi in history? May I sit for a while? The pair turned to see Gaara as they both gave a warm smile and a nod. Chicken please. Congratulations Gaara, as Naruto patted the redhead on the back in a rather friendly manner. Looks like you and your pals are free people now. Thank you, he said rather stoically. With the San's intervention, they were given amnesty as all their past crimes were forgiven, as without them the damage to Konoha would have been far worse. So what are you going to do now? Go home I guess, Gaara said between bites. There is much rebuilding that needs to be done to my village, seeing as my father is no longer around. May I have a beef bowl please, as a feminine-looking boy took his seat. Ah Haku. How are things going? I heard you caught a lot of sound ninjas. I wasn't that great, said Haku trying to seem modest. It was a group effort after all. Soon after more of their friends started to show, each ordering a bowl as they talked about whatever was on their mind. To say the least, it was a rather warm and comfortable atmosphere, as it brought a nice feeling after a terrible storm events. But of all of Naruto's friends, Sasuke and Sakura were the only ones who did not show up. Konoha, same day that night, spending most of his time in the hospital, Sasuke was under investigation for his role in the attack on Konoha. But thanks in part for both the lack of evidence and him being the last of his clan, he was shown great leniency, as he only had to serve some house arrest that he did while being in the hospital. But finally, with his probation over and recovering enough where he was able to move on his own, he packed enough for a long journey as he now walked towards the end of the village ready to leave. Sasuke-kun, wait, yelled Sakura, what are you doing? Are you planning on leaving? Even after telling me everything that's happened, do you really want to do this? Yes, Sasuke answered. There is just so much I need to understand, and I need time to think about it all. After his talk with his brother, it became all too clear to him that no one was truly innocent for what happened. Although Konoha was to blame, he also understood that his clan did share a great deal of the fault, as well as they too allowed the situation to escalate to such volatile levels. However, there is just so much to sort through. But I can't do it here, not while surrounded by all this guilt and vanity. I need to travel for a bit to clear my mind and understand clearly my place in the world. Sasuke-kun. The young Uchiha then smiled a bit as he looked back to the pink kunoichi, showing a type of calm he hasn't felt for a long time. During his time in the hospital, his pink teammate made it a point to stick to him even after what people accused him of. In a way it was rather endearing, as no matter what he said or did, her persistence to make sure he was okay did not go unnoticed or without appreciation. Recalling the last thing his pink teammate said to him, Sakura. If you're willing to wait. I'll give you my answer then. Sakura held a fist over her heart as there was nothing more she could say. It's not nice to eavesdrop, Sasuke then said as soon as silver-haired ninja walked out from the brush where he was hiding. Do you plan on stopping me, Kakashi-sensei, as he looked to him dangerously? The silver-haired man simply chuckled to this before staring back at them. On the contrary, I predicted you were going to do this, as he kicked his bag out, which caused the children to look to him in surprise. If you're fine with it, I could use a vacation. Understanding what he was implying, Sasuke cocked his head a bit to this. I can take care of myself. Besides, you'll end up becoming a rogue ninja if you do this. I know, but I figured if Asuma can do it, so can I. Tisk, whatever. Come if you want. Although that was Kakashi's answer, his real motive was to watch over him to make sure he kept to the right path. Naruto and Sakura didn't need him anymore as they were already Chunin. So that just left Sasuke that he needed to watch out for. With this conclusion, the pair left on their own trip. Konoha, Hokage's office, a few days later. You want to what? Jiraiya asked, seeming a bit annoyed. I need to travel for a bit, said Naruto again. This watch has been going crazy non-stop ever since my jump a week ago. Whatever the reason, it has to be pretty important if it's been going off like this. Jiraiya groaned. Naruto has been bothering him for a while now about investigating what his watch was trying to tell him. Although the antics of a child bothered him, he knew well to respect the warning of the watch. If Minato designed something in there, it definitely had to mean something. Luckily he had everything prepared for when Naruto would come to bother him again today. Hearing a knock on the door, "Come in," as an Umbu entered. Removing his mask, the ninja stood in salute. Yamato reporting for duty, sir. Huh. This is Yamato and he's going to be with you on your little venture. What? I don't need a babysitter. I'm a Chunin already. Well, you're going to take him or you're not going at all. Chunin or not, you're still a snot-nosed little brat who still needs someone to wipe his nose for him. So take it or leave it, Jiraiya smirked as he kicked his feet onto the desk while folding his hands behind his head. Naruto huffed at this as he had no choice as he gave a disgruntled nod. Good, Jiraiya smiled, rubbing his godson on the head. You can leave as soon as you're ready. Alright, as Naruto was about to run out of the room. But before you go, said the Toad Sannin, this doesn't have anything to do with Sasuke and Kakashi leaving, right? Now, as the blonde waved his hand nonchalantly to this. They'll be back when they're ready. I know it. Konoha, West Gate, so you're really going. Aren't you? Said Hinata sadly as she saw her closest friend packed and ready to leave for an unspecified amount of time. Please don't make that face, said Naruto. It'll just make leaving all that harder. The watch is trying to tell me something and I need to understand what it is. Although it would have been awesome if you could come along, but your dad would definitely say no. Hinata gave a slow nod to this. I can't help it, as she rubbed one of her eyes. I don't want to see you leave. And you don't even know when you're going to be back. I'm sorry, Hinata-chan. But this has been bugging me without end. If I'm going to have a peace of mind, I need to come to terms with what the watch is pointing me to. Naruto-kun, as she looked down sadly. Naruto gave a soft smile trying to cheer her up. Here, as he placed his hands on her shoulders, I'll give you a good luck charm. Leaning in, Naruto gave a little innocent kiss on her cheek which caused Hinata's eyes to widen, her lips to part, and her face to turn several shades of red. I'll be back as fast as I can, as Naruto gave one of his charismatic sunny smiles. So don't be sad, okay? Hinata, still stunned, could only nod to this. Will I better be off then, as Naruto put on his traveling backpack. Bye, Hinata-chan, I'll see you later then. Okay, she half stuttered. Please have a safe journey, waving to him. Nodding, the two friends parted ways. Although saddened, they knew it was not going to be forever. Now they were going to begin the next chapter of their lives. To be continued. Don't take this seriously, but if you want to. Okay. Upon Naruto's jump to the past, the Uchiha brothers were in a heated debate as Sasuke was having trouble coming to grips with what Itachi was telling him. I don't care. Sasuke yelled. I hate Konoha. I'm going to destroy them all. With that answer, Itachi responded, pimp-slapping Sasuke across the cheek, leaving a red mark. Say you hate Konoha again. Say it. I dare you. I double dog dare you, mother f ****. Say you hate Konoha one more goddamn time. Looking up defiantly to his older brother, I hate Konoha. Remaining silent as all they could hear was the wind of the forest night, the elder Uchiha's lips began to curve into a scowl. Does Itachi Uchiha have to Tsukiyomi AB ****ch? This will consist of a general outline of the story as things went to plan. In addition, I will be inserting a few scenes that, regardless of how the story evolved, I would have wanted them. So after the 2 years' time skip, some things have changed while others have stayed the same. Though everyone still has the same style as their canonical versions, Naruto and Hinata have changed outfits in reflection to them of Naruto having a more mature look with Hinata being more liberal. While investigating one of Orochimaru's labs, Hinata gets infected. With what exactly, that I was still debating. Aside of wanting a match to show just how much Naruto and Hinata had grown and changed, it was a plot point of needing Hinata's body to be capable of handling Kurama when Naruto transferred some of him to her. But by next scene is when Erasure and Hana is introduced. Yes, Erasure is Naruto and Hinata eldest son, while Hana is Sasuke and Sakura eldest daughter. However, Hana was not born with that name, which I'll cover later. So as the pair meets the gang, they have a very interesting interaction as Erasure takes after his mom of being very polite, while Hana is like Sasuke of having a very condescending attitude. However, there is a reason she was like that. So moving along, Orochimaru had reappeared, much to the confusion of everyone of how he is alive. But after a hard-fought battle they forced him to retreat through one of the cracks. Needing to save everyone, Naruto sacrifices himself to close it as he leaves some of Kurama to Hinata to keep her safe. In the resulting aftermath, Naruto ends up in the canon universe. Here, following two separate stories, Naruto fixes things in his life while Hinata continues Naruto's work in investigating what's been happening in the world. On Hinata's side, because of the altered memories, people recall her as Kurama's Jinchuriki, which gets the attention of Akatsuki as they are now on the hunt for all the Bijus. So Hinata goes on a mission to meet them all and to ensure their safety, as she figured that's what Naruto would have done. Along the way she helps the other Jinchurikis and the Bijus come to an understanding, more or less covering that life doesn't suck that much and that people can get along if you're patient and willing to listen. Due to Kurama's diminished state, all the Bijus heckle the hell out him for now being so tiny and cute. But upon meeting B in Gyuki, the only way Hinata is able to talk to him is through rap. But as B raps, Hinata talks in haiku. Finally catching up to B, Hinata stopped him, ensuring that she just wants to talk. Now standing apart from each other, they attempt to come to an understanding. Yo yo yo, as B swayed back and forth to get his rhythm. A chick of the leaf has come to play with tons of interesting things to say. Though she chill and the fox is sway, why is it that I have to stay? Thinking carefully of how she should word it, Hinata gave a slight cough as she readied her response. An octopus went off to war. It's a good thing he is well armed. But I come in peace along with this cup of tea. Meanwhile, on Naruto's side, he reforms Sasuke, gets Itachi to reconnect with his brother, gets Danzo busted, and spends time with the Hinata of that world, connecting with her, bringing her out of her shy shell, and trains with her. During this time he comes to understand his own feelings about her when Hinata confesses to him. While he over there, Erasure communicates to him through his watch, explaining everything that had happened as he came from the future to help him come back home. Now being alarmed at how powerful Naruto has become, as well as the few members he had taken out, Akatsuki sends in their big guns Nagato to take him in. It's here that Naruto properly learns of the Six Paths technique and how to fight it, as he creates 7 bunshins to fight them all with different tactics to counter each of his techniques. But in the final moments in their battle, Naruto gets him to see the error of his ways before he dies from overexhaustion from how hard Naruto pushed him to fight. As Konan comes to collect him, Naruto refuses to let her. "He's very weak," said Kurama as he sensed Nagato's dwindling life force. "He won't make it." "The hell he won't," as Naruto went max power. "He just needs a jump start, right? Kurama, divert as much power as you can. This son of B***** ch isn't dying on my watch." Generating 2 orbs of pure yang chakra, he placed one hand over Nagato's heart and the other over his central chakra source as he forced the 2 orbs into him, causing his body to convulse. Nothing, as Kurama sensed no change. "What are you doing?" Konan questioned. "Stop at this instant," as she tried to rip the blonde away. "Saving his life. So get back," as he shocked him again. No matter how hopeless it seemed, he kept pushing as much yang chakra into him as he refused to give up on him. "I know you can hear me, you bastard. You don't get to die like this. You don't get to have the easy way out after realizing what you did. So wake up," as he continued to hit him again and again. But pushing himself to this point, he was completely exhausted as his shroud faded, forcing the last of his yang chakra into Nagato. "Come on," Naruto gritted, now close to tears. "You're an Uzumaki too, aren't you? There are not many of us left anymore. So you got to survive. You're one of the few family members I still have anymore." Coughing out, Nagato was breathing again. Moving along, Naruto jumps again and arrives in the world where the cracks all started. Erasure goes to explain that Orochimaru had won the fight instead of him and Itachi, which created this hellish world, as the Snake Sannin not only attained absolute power but control over time and space after adapting the watch to himself. However, in Orochimaru's arrogance, he believed he could control everything, reworking the world to his machinations. So, cannibalizing the watch, he created a paradox machine to keep whatever changes he made permanent regardless of consequences. But in doing so, the fabric of reality was being ripped to shreds, which was affecting worlds close by. But more so, he crossed his own timeline too many times, which in turn made him a walking paradox, which in essence meant he was protected by time itself. So, confronting the Snake Sannin once more, Naruto was not going pull any punches, as his aim was to kill, as it was the only real way of hurting Orochimaru, tiring him out. Employing some gruesome moves, Naruto pummeled him with spiked wooden fists, exploded splinter bombs inside of him, even used a wind-release Rasen Shuriken on him. Beating him to this extent, Orochimaru attempts to escape with Naruto following, as they end up back at his original universe where he reunites with his friends. However, in a last-ditch effort, Orochimaru decides to travel back in time and kill Naruto before he was ever born. Reacting quickly, both Naruto and Erasure tries to stop him, only to end up somewhere else, much to Naruto's confusion. "It's happened," said Erasure. "Total event collapse has occurred. All reality is being destroyed as we speak, as that paradox has completely destroyed everything. It's not over till it's over. I just have to stop him," as Naruto attempted to time jump again. "Don't," as Erasure placed his hand over the watch. "It's dangerous, as the time vortex is in complete shambles, making time travel too dangerous. It's like trying to run through a raging thunderstorm with a hurricane-class wind going on. The turbulence alone would kill you. It's complete suicide. No. There's always a way," as Naruto looked around. "If there's a storm going on," now spotting a giant blue box, "you just need to get a ride." Putting his seals to work, he created everything he needed to allow the blue box to time travel safely, as they make it to Minato and Kushina, to which they somehow managed to chase Orochimaru away. However, total event collapse has already occurred, as now it's a race against the clock to save as much as he can. "Come with us if you want to live," Naruto shouted as he pulled his parents into the box. Yeah, I couldn't resist the Terminator reference. Anyways, Naruto pilots the box around, evacuating the entire world. But needing to make more space inside, it becomes difficult as it's taxing on not only Naruto's chakra but Kurama's as well, as they are not enough to refuge the entire world. So in a great show of humility, Kurama asks the other Bijus for help as the Jinchurikis gather around the central console, giving it the power it needs to support the world. With everything calmed down, Naruto demands answers from Erasure to what exactly has been going on. This is when he reveals that he and Hinata are his parents. "You," said Erasure awkwardly, "my dad." He realized what had happened as someone killed him in the past. Though he could have saved himself, his first thought was to save his friends, family, as many people as he could. "So he gave me the watch, dislocating me from the flow of time and everyone else I could save." He then scoffed, shaking his head a bit. "I never realized it. But you, my dad was preparing me all this time for this moment." As an make they discuss what the name of the box is. "So what's the name of the place?" asked Kiba. As Naruto thought about it. "I think I'll call it the TRDS. TRDS. Yeah, it's a neat acronym I thought up." Thinking about it, Hinata guessed what it could mean. "Does it mean time and relative dimensions in space?" "Actually, I was thinking this awesome ride designed in style, but that works too." As a second make, he would have used the Ichiraku ramen stand as the ship, though this would purely be for laughs. So after much discussion, there is a way to fix everything, as they just need to destroy Orochimaru's paradox machine, undoing all the damage he has done, which would snap reality back into shape. However, due to total event collapse, time is literally ripping itself apart trying to make sense of the chaos that's occurring. Hence everything that has happened in recorded history is all happening at once right then and there, which includes all the wars that have ever been waged, including the one with the Jubi. So you can imagine they were going to meet a lot of interesting people along the way. But searching out Orochimaru, the defining moment occurs as they run into Hanzo, in which they have no choice but to battle. But after a scuffle with Naruto and his friends, it's then that Hanzo names Naruto's generation Ninjas of the Void. Finally locating the snake Sannin, this leaves Minato, Naruto, and Erasure to battle Orochimaru. After a short exchange, the Sannin realizes he's actually getting hurt. "We're forcing you back into synchronization inside a localized pocket of time," said Minato. "How are you doing that? Time no longer exists anymore." "Not exactly," Minato continued as he pulled out his watch, as did his son and grandson. "In this pocket of time, I represent the past." "The present," said Naruto. "And the future," said Erasure. "Let's see how good your immortality works now." Though the problem still stands that Orochimaru with the 6 paths technique is hard to defeat, as he's wiping the floor with them. However, Minato, Naruto, and Erasure use their blood as a hard medium to hold their chakra as it's being splashed onto Orochimaru. With the trap set, the 3 boys activates their sealing technique, shutting down his 6 paths ability, as they are now able to turn this battle around. Unable to win, Orochimaru goes to the one place he can go, which is the beginning of time, in order to rewrite existence with him as God. So on the final battle, the boys jump into the time vortex as it's a free-fall battle. As things escalate, Orochimaru summons some sort of giant creature to stall them as he goes to the beginning. Just at the nick of time, the TRDIS arrives to assist as Orochimaru rides the beast down while the TRDS attempts to pull them back. Running out of time, they need to destroy Orochimaru before he gets to the beginning. For this one time only Minato, Naruto, and Erasure brings their watches together, generating void element as they form a raisin shuriken that explodes into a black hole. Moments before they reach the beginning, as the Big Bang occurs, reality snaps back into shape. With everything saved, Erasure and Hana returns to future only to accidentally drag Naruto, Hinata, Sasuke, and Sakura to future, where they see how everything turns out and that everything turns out fine. As a closing note, Naruto remarks the journey of life and how he couldn't wait to get there. Now the other part of the story covers Arashi's life as he grew up. In a revenge scheme against the Uzumaki clan, Kabuto kidnaps Sasuke and Sakura first daughter Yum, who was renamed Hana, to be raised for a simple purpose. To kill Naruto and Hinata first son Erasure as a scar that will never heal. Of course Naruto never gave up his search for his best friend's daughter. Finally finding Kabuto, he was just one step ahead, sending Hana off, which enraged Sasuke, to which he gets into a fight with Naruto as they both duke it out as eventually they calm down. A few years pass as Naruto and Hinata have a daughter Kazara who has long red hair with spiky bangs and a son Hatsuharu, or Haru for short, with spiky blonde hair with some streaks of black. Sasuke and Sakura also had another daughter Toph. Yes, Toph, she's cool enough to be in any story. They also have two sons, Ren and Shigeru. Ren with spiky dark pink hair and Shigeru with spiky black hair. The two families are good friends as Ren, Shigeru, and Haru play often with each other. Though Kazara and Toph have a relationship similar to Ino and Sakura did in their youth, as they seem antagonistic to each other but are actually very good friends. Now fast forward a few more years as it's the Chunin exams as everyone is gathered for it. Recommended by Miwa, Kakashi and Anko daughter, who is Arashi's Jonin teacher, he takes the test. It's during the first part of the exam that Erasure meets Hana as she presents herself as a very flirtatious girl. But by the time of the second part of the exam, she is far from what she seems as Hana attempts to kill him. Revealing her Mangekyo Sharingan eyes, Erasure realizes who she is. In a hard-fought battle, he manages to chase her away as she disappears from the test. With the conclusion of the second exam and intermission towards the third exam, that is when tragedy strikes as Hana visits her parents' home and kidnaps Toph to play with her. Scouring the village as they looked for the young Uchiha, Erasure picked up her tracks as he entered the Forest of Death, as that's where all the clues told him where to find her. Searching carefully, paying close attention to every small detail. Every little sound, or shifts in the wind, Erasure needed to find her, as Kazara would never forgive him if he failed to do so. But at the very twitch of his ear, he heard something. Crying. Using his eyes, he scanned around while using his ears to lock on to where the sound was coming from. Picking up the quiet weepings of a little girl, he knew where to go. Hold on, Toph, I'm coming. Quickly running through the forest, he avoided everything that got in his way as he finally made out the young Uchiha's chakra amongst the vastness of the nature around them. She was hiding within a hollowed-out tree stump, sitting in the fetal position, terrified. Finally arriving, he saw some wood and rocks that blocked the entrance inside the stump. Toph! Are you okay? Toph! But all he could hear was crying. Quickly removing the obstructions, he peered inside as she was curled up in a ball as she hugged herself tightly. Gasping in fear, Toph frantically panicked, trying to escape. Toph, it's okay. It's me, it's Erasure, as he grabbed her shoulders. But upon facing her around, the dark-haired youth was horrified to what he saw. Erasure. Toph stuttered as she twitched, I can't see, as blood ran down the sides of her cheeks from her gouged-out eyes. Oh no. Upon notification, Toph was taken to the hospital where she was treated. Having some donor eyes ready, Sakura did her best to repair her daughter's vision. However, the nerve damage was far too severe, as Toph will never be able to see again. Using Tsukiyomi, Hana tortured her sister for 3 days and 3 nights with genjutsu, showing her terror and nightmares in order to forcibly awaken her Sharingan and Mangekyo. Once that happened, she took what she wanted, leaving her little sister for dead. Sometime later, Hana faces off against Erasure, revealing the special talent of what her eternal Mangekyo eyes can do, which gives her perfect foresight, capable of truly seeing the future. This time around, Hana has the advantage as Erasure can't make a move without being countered. During the fight they share a lively conversation consisting of a mix of flirting and angry talks. Forcing a stalemate, Hana kills Erasure with the method Kabuto had intended for her. Face to face against each other, breathing heavily from overexertion, Hana smirked as she delivered a quick kiss to Arashi's lips, which confused him as it was such an odd thing to do in a life or death struggle. But before he could react, He realized something was wrong as dark purplish-black lines was beginning to spread from his lips to the rest of his face as he instantly realized what she had done. Poison, as blood seeped from his mouth and eyes. Umbu then entered detaining Hana as Erasure was quickly rushed to the hospital to be treated. However, the deed was sealed. If they had time, Hinata, Sakura, Ino, and Tsunade would have been able to find a cure. But they didn't have the time as Erasure was dying a very painful and excruciating death as the poison was breaking him apart from the inside out. Though Hana was to be imprisoned for her assassination of the Hokage's child, she was able to escape. But before leaving, she bids her farewell to her parents and siblings as she wanders to find something new to do. Sasuke and Sakura are unable to do anything due to conflict between their emotions and their duty. But understanding the plight of the Uchiha family, Erasure faces Hana one last time in an attempt to convince her to stay and make amends with her family to the very least. However, she has very little care for this as Kabuto had convinced her she was thrown away by them. So to decide this, Erasure activates his secret weapon, revealing an evolved state of the Byakugan eyes which can battle against Hana's perfect foresight. Haven't decided how exactly. But after a climatic battle, Erasure could not continue any longer from the poison killing him. Just as Hana was about to leave, Erasure connects his chakra to her to show her the truth behind her past. Is this some sort of petty trick? Or is this some sort of pathetic attempt to plead for your life? Erasure was now on the edge of death as his eyes felt so heavy now while just breathing began to hurt like crazy. But if this was going to be his last moments, there was just one last thing he wanted to say. No, shaking his head slightly. Your parents love you very much and they never stopped looking for you. I know. I know you've been suffering your entire life. But you can be at peace now. Go back to them. They can give you what you've been missing all your life. As Hana still tried to leave. I'll never let go, as Arashi's hand gripped tighter around Hana's. Even if I have to die. Trying. It was then he had lost consciousness. But as his hand began to slip, Hana gripped him back as she knelt before his body. Staring quietly as she thought about everything that had happened, she sighed as a small smile formed. You really are stupid. Soon she went down slowly, kissing him as a tear had escaped her eye. In doing so, Hana's lips were both the poison and the antidote. Curing him, she dragged Erasure to the hospital where he was taken care of while she was sent to the prison till further notice. But after a few weeks of recovering, Hana's rehabilitation began as Erasure visited the prison every night to break her out. You know you'll get in trouble for doing this, as Hana rubbed her wrist as her shackles were released. Well, it's not a big deal. Although you'll be here during the day, the nights, well, we can go anywhere in all of space and time, as he took out his father's watch. Don't worry, Erasure smiled, I'll have you back by morning. Hana chuckled. Alright sweetie, where do you have in mind? For the next 2 years, Erasure will break Hana out every night to go on their little trips to wherever in the universe. Each night, the guards will report this fact only for the next morning that Hana will just walk right back into her cell. In these 2 years, Erasure will try to repair the broken relationship between Hana now Yum and Toph. Although hard, progress was made as Yum would spend the rest of her life making it up to her. Though Toph's eyes can never be fixed, there was another way she could see again. As Naruto passed along to Erasure the teachings of Senjutsu, Erasure taught it to Toph. Being blind and having the same earth affinity of her mother, Toph is able to see again through seismic detection. Taking it to the next level, she masters earth element so well she created an earth-style senjutsu, no longer needing to weave seals to use earth techniques. For the years to come, Erasure goes on trips all over the universe with his siblings, as well as Yum and her siblings getting into all kinds of trouble. At times Erasure takes his friends who are the children of the Rookie 9 and Guys team on trips if they're available.
That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.